तेरी शरण सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी। तनासरी महला तीजा। काचा धन संग चहे मूर्ख गावार। मन मुख भूले अंध गावार। काचा धन संग चहे मूर्ख गावार। मन मुख भूले अंध गावार। बिखिया कै धन सदा दुख होए। ना साथ जाए ना प्राप्त होए। साचा धन गुरमति पाए। काचा धन फुन आवे जाए। रहाओ मन मुख भूले सब मरह गवार। भाव जल डूबे न उर्वार न पार। सतगुर भेटे पूरै भाग। साच रते अहनिस बैराग। चाहो जुग मह अमृत साची बाणी। पूरै भाग हरे नाम समाणी। सिद्ध साधिक तरस है सब लोए। पूरै भाग प्राप्त होए। सब किश साचा साचा है सोए। ऊतम ब्रह्म पछाणै कोए। सच साचा सच आप दृढ़ाए। नानक आपे वेखै आपे सच लाए। सच साचा सच आप दृढ़ाए। नानक आपे वेखै आपे सच लाए। काचा धन संग चहे मूर्ख गावार। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। धन धन सतगुरु पतत पावन भगत वत्सल किरपा दे खजाने जोत रूप। धन साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दी गुरु खालसा साध संगत जी। आप जी वडभागी हो जिन्हां ने आप दे जन्मे सफले कीते हन। गुरु घर आ करके हफ्ते बारे दीवान सरवण करके। धन साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दसा पातशाहियों की जागदी जोत अकाल पुरख वाहिगुरु दे शब्द स्वरूप सारिਆਂ ते किरपा कर रहे हैं। सतगुरु साहिब जी का फरमान है पार ब्रह्म होआ सहाय कथा कीर्तन सुखदाई। पार ब्रह्म परे जो परमेश्वर स्वरूप है परे तो परे जो किसी के हथ नहीं आता वो सहायक किस तरह होंदा है। कथा कीर्तन सुखदाई जो सुखां दे देण वाले कथा अते कीर्तन बख्श करके साडे सहायत होके साडे सहायक हुंदा है। सतगुरु साहिब जी किरपा करते हैं। कल युग मह कीर्तन प्रधाना गुरमुख जपिए लाए ध्याना। कल युग दे विच कीर्तन ही प्रधान है जो हरि जस सरवण करके हटे हुए हावांगे। हुण कुछ समय वास्ते जो सब दे उत्तम हर की कथा नाम सुनत दर्द दुख लता दे महावाकण सार। जो इस शब्द जो तीसरे पातशाह साहिब श्री गुरु अमरदास साहिब जी ने बख्शा है धनासरी राग दे विच, आओ मनचित विरतियां एकागर करके इस शब्द का विचार करिए जी। सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी। धनासरी महला तीजा। धनासरी राग दे विच साहिब श्री गुरु अमरदास साहिब जी इस शब्द दा बख्शते हैं। धन धन साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी has blessed us like they do, and we have come to their sanctuary on this Sunday as we do on a weekly basis to take their blessings. We have been told that Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji through their bani, that if we want peace from Par Brahm Parmeshwar, the infinite Lord Vaheguru, they have given us two mediums to find that peace. They have given us the medium of katha and they have given us the medium of kirtan. Kirtan is the singing of praises through singing the Gurbani Shabds that they have blessed us with. And katha is doing the vichar in our own minds on the meanings of those Gurbani Shabds. The Panth has allowed us to sing the praises in Kirtan form, obviously of the Shabds from all of our 10 Gurus. But the Panth has also allowed us to sing the praises of our Lord and focus through the Vara of Bhai Gurdas Ji, the Ghazals of Bhai Nandalal Singh Ji. Bhai Gurdas Sahib Ji was the nephew of Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, and they were the scribe for Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji when Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji was first brought to this world in the form, in the complete form. Bhai Gurdas Ji's Vara have been blessed as being the key to understanding Gurbani. So as well as being able to sing the Kirtan of the Bani of our Gurus, the Panth has allowed us to sing Shabds from the Vars and the Ghazals of Bhai Nandalal Ji. But at the same time, Katha is the translation of those Shabds of Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and any Bani of our Gurus. But at the same time, we are allowed to translate and use the Banis or the poetry of Bhai Gurdas Sahib Ji, Bhai Nandalal Ji and explain their meanings too, as they help us to understanding our Guru Gurbani. Katha is also singing the praises or describing the praises, describing our itihas. The Panth has allowed us to share our history, our itihas, the itihas of our Gurus and the itihas of our forefathers, foremothers, brothers and sisters who have come before us, and singing their mehma, their praises, by listening to how they live their lives and trying to implement those teachings into ours. So Guru Sahib Ji has given us two mediums, Kirtan and Katha. Kirtan is can be described like a thunderstorm. If we go outside in a thunderstorm and it rains very heavily, we will be completely drenched in that rain. And we attain that bliss at that very instant when we're sat in the Sangat listening to Kirtan. And if you imagine putting a bucket outside in a thunderstorm, and if you have a real thunderstorm shower, the bucket will fill very quickly and it will start overflowing. And that is how we feel when we come into the sanctuary and we're in the Sangat listening to Kirtan, or we're singing Kirtan. If you take that further and think of a tap, if we're filling a bottle of water or a cup in a tap, and we open the tap at full speed, the water fills to the top and gushes out very quickly. But when we close that tap, as we all know, as we may have tried it when we were younger, the water doesn't stay at the top because there's much water that has gushed out of the top. It remains sometimes half empty or a little bit empty. It doesn't become completely full. And if we're not completely spiritually attuned to the Sharan and Charan of Vaheguru, that is what sometimes happens when we partake in the Sangat of Kirtan, because we are gaining extreme bliss at the time of Kirtan. But when we leave Guru's Darbar or we stop listening to that Kirtan, sometimes we'll feel empty because of the amount of bliss we have experienced in the Kirtan. When we are taken out of that, we can feel empty. And that is why Guru Sahib Ji has also given us the blessing of katha. Katha is like a slow rain. Now a slow rain, in Punjabi we see kaniya. When kaniya are falling, we sometimes don't even feel those raindrops. And we don't need umbrellas or coats. But when we come home and if we put our hands on top of our heads, we will feel the rain has affected our dastara. They have become wet. We may not have realized the slow rain happening, but we know it has affected us if we touch the top of our heads. If we put a bucket outside, the bucket will fill. It may take a long time, it may take a while, but with those droplets, they won't gush out, they will fill to the top. If we take that bottle of water and we place it under that tap, and we open the tap slowly, it will fill, taking its time, but it will fill nonetheless to the top. A clever person, a siyana person, when they're filling a bottle of water or filling a large jug in a tap, generally opens the tap very quick, so it fills near to the top very quickly, and then as it reaches to the top, they will slow the tap down. And so the last bits of water slow down and fill, so no water goes outside of the bucket. And that is the effect of katha. Katha is like a slow rain. A slow rain that sometimes we feel we don't experience any bliss with because of the bliss of Kirtan. Because it's so immense when we partake and listen to Kirtan. When we listen to katha, sometimes we feel we're not getting anything from this. It doesn't affect us in that instant, sometimes like Kirtan does. But it does have an effect nonetheless, just like that slow rain does. Just like when we fill that cup or that bottle of water, we slow the tap down so it fills to the top. So katha is like when we've partaken and done sangat of Kirtan, and the water is gushing, that amrit roop, that water which is the form of amrit is gushing outside of us as we come to the end of that Kirtan, so we are not left half empty. We should partake in the translation, the reflection of that shabad, of the katha, of the gurbani, so we can completely fill ourselves. As we leave the sangat, we are completely filled and not left empty, as we will be taking teachings away as well as experiencing that bliss. And it takes time to attune ourselves to that katha, because it is like a slow rain. But if we focus and contemplate, and Gurbani, we are meant to do vichar on Gurbani. Now vichar in the English language can be translated to debate. But we are debating with our own minds, not with each other. We may have lost that way where we debate with each other and question the teachings. But really, vichar means vichar with our own minds, debate with our own minds, reflection within ourselves. We should always look at ourselves first before looking at others. And that's what that Gurbani Katha does. And again, the Panth has given us Parvanagi, has allowed us to do Katha of any Bani of our Gurus, of the history of our Gurus and our Gursikhs before us, our forefathers and foremothers. But at the same time, we are allowed also to do the Katha of the Vara of Bhai Gurdas Sahib Ji and the Ghazals of Bhai Nandalal Singh Ji. So now, let us attune ourselves, let us focus our attention, and let us focus on this Katha of Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji Shabad. Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji has blessed us this Shabad from Tanasri Rag. Tanasri is one of the rags in Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, one of the 31 rags that Gurus have blessed us this Bani with. It is described as a feminine rag. And Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, the third form of Sahib Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the third form of Akal Purakh on this earth, has blessed us with this teaching. In the coming days or in the previous days, Gursikhs around the world have celebrated or are celebrating or will celebrate the coming of Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, because the Avtar Dehada are in these days. Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Ji was the oldest in terms of physical age when they became the Guru of the Sikhs. Before they came into the sanctuary of Sahib Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji at Khadur Sahib, they spent many years searching for a true, a pura Guru. If we read our history books, and sometimes the books written in English, when our children read them or we try to explain them, we see that Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, before they came to the sanctuary, went on many pilgrimages with other faiths. And we may question, if they're the Guru of the Sikhs, why would they go on these pilgrimages? If they are the embodiment of Vaheguru on this earth. Aap Narayan Kalatar Jag Meh Parvareo. So they're the form of Vaheguru on this earth. Why would they go to these pilgrimages? But the teaching in those pilgrimages, even though they're not in the sanctuary, they're not the Guru yet, is actually deeper. We must look on why they went on those pilgrimages and what teaching are we to take from those. They used to go on a pilgrimage every 6 months. Every 6 months. And what were they in search of? They were in search of a true Guru, a pura Guru. They went traveling all over India, specifically to what those faiths called Tirath Yatre, to find a pura Guru, and they could never find one. And they went twice a year in search of a Guru. So when they went to those Tiraths, when we read those books in English or in Punjabi, and we question why our Guru went to these other places of other faiths, we must remember they went in search of a Guru, showing us that we must also search for a true Guru. We must also search for a pura Guru. And they couldn't find anybody in 20 visits. And what message are we getting from there? We can go all over this world. We can travel anywhere. We will not find a pura Guru apart from Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, who we have been already blessed with as we are born into the houses of Guru Nanak Sahib, and we are all allowed to come into their sanctuary already. Many of us go outside our own house and look for spiritual people, look for people who may give us materialistic wealth, look for blessings, look for peace. And we don't realize that we have that peace in our own house, in the house of Sahib Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. We have that peace in the form of Shabad, of Gurbani, contained in Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the King of Kings, our Father, the form of Vaheguru on this earth, the Almighty Lord now. So Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji went searching for a Guru, and on the 20th visit, after the 20th visit, when they stayed over at somebody's house and had food, they wanted to pay for the food they had eaten. And the person was named Durga Das. Durga Das looked at the charan of Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji at night and saw that they had what they called a padam, a nishani of a Chakravarti Padshah, meaning the King of Kings, if we want to translate simply in this world. The King of all the creation. And when Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji was given that money for the food, they said, no, I don't want to take your money. You have the nishani. You have the form of the King of Kings, the King of all the universe, the King of this world. And you may not realize that yet. But when you realize that, I will take blessings from you at that point. They didn't take the money. Because at that point, Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji was just a person living in the world, looking for a true Guru. And Durga Das said, I will take blessings, and they were blessed later on. Further, Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, on their way back to their pind, which was known as Basarke, which is north of Sri Amritsar, where Harmandir Sahib resides. On the way back, they brought somebody else who went onto that yatra, and they did seva of them and fed them langar. They were known as a brahmachari. Basically, they were obviously from another faith, but they had a strict discipline within their own faith. And obviously, they'd been to this pilgrimage in the Brahmachari's mind that Guru Amar Das Ji looking for a guru. They went together, and this Brahmachari thought that Guru Amar Das Ji would be very spiritual, which obviously they become the guru of the Sikhs. And the Brahmachari asks Guru Amar Das Ji, as they would, who is your guru? My guru is such and such. Who is your guru? And Guru Amar Das Ji goes, I haven't found a guru yet. I'm still searching for a complete guru. Everywhere I have seen, I've only seen kache. I've only seen incomplete people putting themselves across as gurus. And that Brahmachari was so offended that he'd eaten from the hands of a person who doesn't even have a guru. He says, my discipline has been broken. You have broken my discipline because I've had to eat from you, and you don't even have a guru. You don't even have a way. You don't even have a faith because you don't have a guru. Now Guru Amar Das Ji there is obviously born in a family in India. And that family and their forefathers, in their physical family of Guru Amar Das Ji, are probably believers in the Hindu faith. But since they don't have a guru, this Brahmachari is saying, you are a man of no faith. And I've eaten from you and broken my discipline. And they cursed Guru Amar Das Ji and left. Guru Amar Das Ji, again a teaching for us possibly. Until we have found a complete guru, do we have a direction? Do we have a path? Do we have a way? Do we have a faith? Our complete guru is Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And to take on them as a guru, we go through an initiation. And the first 9 gurus and some of the 10th guru, that initiation was called Charna Amrit. It was taking the Amrit after water had washed the charan of our gurus and taking Naam from our guru and joining the Panth in that time. But then Sahib Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, in 1699, by taking the heads of the Panch Pyare, changed the initiation ceremony into Khande Bhatte. The Amrit Khande Di Pohal was prepared, and it is now prepared by the Panch Pyare before it's administered to the Sikhs who come to give their head at that time. So to really take on our Guru, we must go through that initiation ceremony. But being in the house of Guru Nanak Sahib, we are on a path of our own. Some may take it quickly, some may take time. The key is we must have the aim to take as soon as possible. But if we are blessed like Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji was blessed, because after that night, Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji couldn't sleep. They couldn't sleep because they were desperate now to find a true guru. They couldn't sleep all night. They were lucky that their niece-in-law, so their brother's son, was married to the daughter of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji, who was known as Bibi Amaro Ji. So Bibi Amaro Ji was the daughter of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji. And she was married to the nephew of Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, their elder brother's son. And obviously in India, brothers is a little bit different now. People have built their own houses in their cities, but in the villages, families even now live together. Brothers, grandparents, great-grandparents, and they all live in one big house. And so they're all part of the same house, and they see each other. Cousins are all part of the same house. And Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, not being able to sleep that night, desperate, searching, where will I find a complete guru? This is the last straw. This Brahmachari has cursed me, saying you have nothing if you have no guru. And Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, in that morning, heard Bibi Amaro Ji doing Nitnem, reading Gurbani. She was the daughter of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji. So she was a Sikh of the Guru. She was reciting, waking at Amrita Villa, the only one to wake in that house, doing her household work, but also reciting the bani given to us by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, Sri Japji Sahib. After reciting Sri Japji Sahib, she read some shabads, singing some kirtan. Even though she may not have had a vajja, we don't know, but she was singing shabads. And one of the shabads was describing our actions as being paper, our mind as being ink, and the actions that we do are written on this paper and they come with us. That only actions, positive actions, will go with us. Not everything else will be left in this world. And Guru Amar Das Ji heard this bani and it pierced their heart. Again, I must remind us all that Guru Amar Das Ji is the embodiment of the Lord when they came to this world. So actually going through these kathas as they are described in Punjabi, going through these actions, it's actually a teaching to all of us. And we should be putting ourselves in their place and looking at their longing for a guru and how Gurbani had affected them because they understood what was saying, that only actions will go with us, nothing else will. They approached Bibi Amroji in the morning and they said to Bibi Amroji, you are like my daughter, because they were like their daughter-in-law, their brother's daughter-in-law. Where is this bani from? Where were you singing this from? Who is the creator of this bani? And Bibi Amroji described the house of Guru Nanak Sahib and that her father was now on the Guru Gaddi. And Sri Guru Amar Das Ji pleaded with Bibi Amroji to take them to see Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji, the limb of Guru Nanak Sahib, the form of Guru Nanak Sahib at that time. Bibi Amroji said that my father had said I am not allowed to visit unless they call me. That Guru Amar Das Ji said, you just take me there because this is just doing seva, you're taking me to their sanctuary. Bibi Amroji took Sri Guru Amar Das Ji to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji. They told Sri Guru Amar Das Ji to wait outside the village before Bibi Amroji went to see Guru Sahib Ji at Khadur Sahib. Guru Sahib Ji asked, why have you come? I haven't called you. And she explained that this, my father-in-law's brother, Sri Guru Amar Das Ji has come and they want to come to your sanctuary. And it was then when Sri Guru Amar Das Ji was blessed with the Sangat of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji. We knew, or we know, that Guru Amar Das Ji did seva for 12 years of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji. 12 years in their old age, old physical age. They used to wake Amrita Vela before anybody and walk many, many kilometers to the river Byas from Khadur Sahib. They would walk backwards for 3-4 kilometers reciting a Japji Sahib da Path. And then they would turn around when they get past a certain point, collect that water in a pot, carry it on their head, covering it up so it doesn't spill, bringing it all the way back and coming to the sanctuary of Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji for them to do Ishnan in the morning. And they did this every single day for 12 years, whether they were ill, whether they were strong, whether it was cold, whether it was hot. They continued that seva for 12 years. If we really think deeply, that is a massive seva. And that is where Gursikhs now sometimes in a darbar would walk backwards after they matha take, because that they have taken from the teaching of Guru Amar Das Ji, who would walk back for a certain point before they would turn around. One such time, Guru Amar Das Ji, in the 12th year, when they were ultimately given the Gurgaddi, on the way back, it was heavy thunderstorms and they slipped. They held onto a tree and the family were awoken. And they looked outside and they said, who's this Kamala outside? And Guru Amar Das Ji says, I'm no Kamala. They said, it must be somebody who has no place, who has no house, who's homeless. That could be only a person walking about in the middle of this night, in this thunder rain. And Guru Amar Das Ji says, I do have a place. My place, my home is Sahib Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji. I'm a Sikh of the Guru. I'm not homeless. But they still completed the seva without losing any of the water, without any rain or dirt getting into the water. They obviously were injured, but they took and completed that seva. Every year of those 12 years, Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji used to give Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji a ramal in the form of a saropa. And they would tie that ramal on their dastar. And after 12 years, the saropa was so big that the dastar had gained in size because they never took it off their head. Obviously they would take it off in the morning and night when they're doing kesi shanan and all those kind of things, but they would always tie those sarope back around their heads, around their head. And they had one for every year, and each year Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji used to give them a blessing, because they used to say to Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji, you are the giver of peace. You are Nimanaya da man, you are the giver of honor to the person with no honor. Nithanaya da than, you are the person who gives place to person with no place. But each year, Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji used to give those same blessings back to them. That actually, Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, you are the person who gives honor to the ones with no honor. You are the person who will give place to the people with no place. You will give blessings to those with no blessings. And they then became the Guru, the third Guru of the Sikhs. They gave us the town of Goindwal Sahib. A person called Gonda came to Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji because their city where they lived, the Sakhi is quite long, was full, as he described it, was haunted. And Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji gave the stick to Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, and they exercised that whole town of Gonda. Some people believe that the town was named after this person called Gonda, but actually it was called Goindwal Sahib. Goindwal. Goind is a name of Waheguru that describes Waheguru as the protector of this world, the protector of their creation. So it wasn't necessary. Some history books would say it's named after that person, but actually Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji named it as the protector. It's God's place, the protector of this universe, of the creation. They had so much nimarta when the son of Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji kicked them after they became the Guru. They fell off their manji, but they got back up. Hath jod ke said, you must have got pain by kicking this old man whose bones must be hard and strong. And Datu would then feel that pain in their leg until they were later blessed, and they manged maafi, and Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji blessed them. But at the same time, they stood up for disrespect for our Guru, because they stayed at Goindwal Sahib. Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji sent them to Goindwal Sahib. And then there was a time when the Sikhs of Khadur Sahib started following a false prophet who said, it doesn't rain in this village because you've got Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji living here. You need to get them out of this village and then I will make it rain. Those farmers wanted it to rain. They told Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji to leave Khadur Sahib. When Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji found out about this, they came back to Khadur Sahib and they said to the Sikhs, why have you kicked out the Guru from this city? They are the giver of everything. Has it rained now? Has your false prophet made it rain? And they gave a var themselves to those Sikhs. It will only rain wherever you take this false prophet, whichever cave you take them. And this false prophet was dragged from field to field so it would rain, and he ultimately died from the farmers pulling him all directions. So Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, even though in having great humbleness, they never took the disrespect of their Guru, and they showed that in that Sakhi. While they were the Guru, there was a time Amritwala Bibi started crying that her son in Goindwal Sahib had passed away from a rogue, a disease, an illness. Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji gave a blessing that Amritwala, nobody should be crying, they should be singing the praises of the Lord. And after that point, until they left the world for many years, nobody died in Goindwal Sahib, let alone a human, not even an animal would die or died before they left the world in Goindwal Sahib. They gave the rule of Pehla Pangat Pache Sangat, that you should come to Pangat first, sit on the floor and eat langar together before coming in the Sangat. And they showed that when Akbar, the Mughal king, had to sit in langar and sit on the floor in Sangat also, when they came to their sanctuary. In the langar, so many people would give so many goods, but they wouldn't keep them. They would be left outside because only langar that would be used that day would be made. Nothing extra would be taken, and any langar that was left over would be fed to the cows, the majja, and then given to fish in the rivers. And every seva was complete before the next day it would start again. They gave the Gurgaddi to their son-in-law, Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, who was married to their daughter Bibi Bani Ji. They tested them. They were blessed. They blessed Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, Dohita Bani Ka Bohita. They gave him the blessing that you will be you're my grandson, and you will give the ship that will ferry the creation across the worldly ocean. That ship being the ship of Gurbani. Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji was first given to us by Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. So that is the third Guru of the Sikhs. And they gave us so many blessings and so many teachings. We could go on for hours describing their Sakhiyan. But let us contemplate on the Shabd they have given us today, or the Shabd we are reflecting on. Intana Sri Rag, Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, Intana Sri Rag has given us this Shabd. Let us focus with great concentration. Kacha tan sancha hai Murakh gavar. Tan Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji has blessed us. Kacha tan sancha hai. Sancha hai means to collect, to gather. Tan means wealth. Simply, it means materialistic wealth or money. Kacha tan. Kacha means kacha, incomplete. Incomplete wealth is collected by who? Murakh gavar. Murakh means foolish. Gavar means base samaj, those without knowledge. The ultimate foolish person. Foolish and no knowledge. What is kacha tan? Which is the wealth which is incomplete? Simply, we can say it's money. We can say money is incomplete wealth. Why is it incomplete wealth? Because it doesn't go with us. Complete wealth is something, surely, that will go and stay with us and remain with us for eternity. Not just in this life, in our afterlives. But a foolish person, somebody without any knowledge, collects that wealth which is kacha, which doesn't go with us. That wealth can be in the form of money, their sole focus being making more money. That wealth, that materialistic maya can be in the form of collecting friends in this life, friendships. It could be in the form of fame. Some people go after fame in this life. Some people go after fortune. Some people go after friends. Some people keep their families happy. But Maharaj says, Antbar jo Lakshmi simre, aisi chinta mein je mare, sarp joon bal bal avtare. Those who think about money on their last breath will come over and over again as a snake. So in this Shabad, the Uthanaka, the message behind this Shabad is focusing on money specifically. Some of us spend all our life making money. Yes, we've come into this country. We want to develop our families, and we do care. There's nothing wrong with that as long as we don't get attached to the money we are making and we don't think that is going to give us complete happiness. Baba Mori Ji, one of the Sahibzade, the children of Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji. Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji had two sons, Baba Mohan Ji, Baba Mori Ji. They had two daughters, Bibi Pani Ji and Bibi Dani Ji. One of their sons, Baba Mori Ji, at one point asked Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, because many people would matha take a lot of money to Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji and they would never let this maya come near them, this materialistic wealth, this money, to affect them or affect the Sikhs. But Baba Mori Ji had a thought in their mind that I've never seen 1 lakh in terms of money in those days. And one day when all the money was matha taked in their golak or in their place, where however it was collected in those days, but Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji said to Baba Mori Ji, I want you to count it today. Because they knew that their son had that thought, seeing all this money. And Baba Mori Ji started counting the money. Now money, even today, has got dirt on it, because it goes through many different hands. And it's got bamariya on money. Because there's so many different hands. We know when we go in hospitals, they make us wash our hands and, you know, with those boxes all over the place now, so we don't pass on diseases. But money itself is passed through many different hands. How do we know what type of hands have touched that money that we have in our hands? So money carries probably the most germs because it goes through many different hands. And Baba Mori Ji, even in those days, it'd be the same. We started counting. And because it was hot, they would rub their face, or rub the sweat off their face, wipe their hands, as their hands would get sticky. Counting the money, they'd wipe their hands over their clothes. And at the end of counting all this money, their clothes had become black. their face had become black because that dirt had mixed in with the sweat and it would rubbed all over their face and hands. Their whole body had become black. And the teaching, that was physically black, but the teaching Guru Amar Das Ji said, this money, this wealth that the world chases after, look what it's done to you physically, and it does the same to you spiritually. If we get attached to just money and we chase after just money, not only will it blacken us on the outside, it will blacken us on the inside, and we will not be able to develop spiritually because we will be attached to something which is katha, which is not complete, which will not stay with us in the hereafter. So Sri Guru Amar Das Ji is saying, Kacha tan sancha hai, murakh gavar. Only the foolish, the one with no knowledge, collects this kacha tan. What do they say further? Manmukh phule andgavar manmukh. Manmukh translates to those who make their mind their man, their mukhi. Mukhi means leader. If our mind leads us, then we can be described as manmukh, because our mind follows emotions fueled by the panch chor. And if our mind becomes our mukhi, our leader, then we are described as manmukh. Pulle, they're forgotten. They don't realize. They are ande, and means ande agyani. They have no knowledge. Gavar, besamaj. They have no knowledge. A manmukh is led by their mind because their mind thinks this money will give us everything. Because obviously money buys everything in this world. So our mind becomes foolish, not realizing that we are here for an eternity. This body might be here for now, but our jots are here for eternity, and we need to collect that wealth that will stay with us for eternity, not the wealth that only lasts this time. Mata Loi Ji, the wife of Bhagat Kabir Ji, Lakshmi in the form of Maya would come to the door of Bhagat Kabir Ji. Bhagat Kabir Ji never took it upon themselves. Mata Loi Ji, their wife, said, if you don't take it, why don't you give it to my brothers who are garib, who are poor? Bhagat Kabir Ji sent that Maya to Mata Loi Ji's brother's family. Now they were very poor. When that money came, they became very rich. They became ministers for the king of that area, for the mayor of the landowners of those areas. And one day, another king from another area came and said, I want to marry my daughter to this king. You are the ministers. Can you sort out this rishta? But they became foolish because they thought they were rich now. And they said, the king's son is not worthy of marriage. Marry your daughter to our son, a son in our family. But the king, knowing the other king, passed the message on. And obviously then that king was very angry that the ministers he had made are trying to sell him out. So what he did, they set up a plan to set up this marriage. And when Bhagat Kabir Ji's brother-in-law's family are having this celebration, the king sets it all on fire. And Bhagat Kabir Ji, being a relative, is obviously invited there, is on the way with Mata Loi Ji. And when they see all this fire, Bhagat Kabir Ji's brother-in-laws, Mata Loi Ji's brothers, are crying. And they say, what happened? They told the story. And Bhagat Kabir said to Mata Loi Ji, this is what happens when you follow money. Because money dilutes our mind. The attachment to money dilutes our mind. And it actually takes us away from truth. And it actually makes us very sly. And it actually does not make us honest with other people, even our families and friends. And Guru Sahib Ji is telling us, Bhikhya ke tan sada dukh hoye. So this tan, this wealth, that is the form of dirt, Bhikhya, that is fueled by Vishay Vikar, the Panch Jor, that wealth always gives us pains. Because if it doesn't give us pains like Mata Loi Ji's brothers, it will give us pains in terms of stress. Because we are always stressed about our money and making sure we make extra money. And again, Sadhguru Sahib Ji saying, Na saath jaye, na parapat hoye, na saath jaye. Just like Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji to Duni Chand, told Duni Chand to take this sui, take the sui into the next world and give me into the next world. And when he thought he was blessed, because Duni Chand was very rich, in those days he had in his bank saved 700,000. And that must be millions and trillions in this day and age. When he went to his wife and he said, Guru Nanak Sahib has blessed me. They've told me to take this sui into the next world. I've been really blessed today. His wife said to him, how will you be able to take it? A man can't even take his clothes to the next world. They don't even take their own body into the next world. How will you take the sui? And he realized that just like he can't take the sui, he can't take his wealth. He came back to Guru Nanak Sahib and he understood the teaching Guru Nanak Sahib Ji gave him. And then he gave his money out for seva. So when we do kirt, we should give the swand and we should share that to the Khalsa Panth. So na saath jai, it doesn't go with us, na parapato hoy. And even though we think we can get more and more, we still are never complete. Again, in the times of Guru Nanak Sahib, Guru Badshah, he was the king of Iran and Persia and Turkey, and even as far as Rome, some of his kingdom went. And what he would do, he set up so many taxes that the people in his towns were so poor. And he would take, if we imagine pounds, he would take tax off them. But they had no money to give him anymore, and he thought, how would I make even more wealth? And he decided to use his daughter. He put his daughter up for marriage. He says, anybody that can give me even £1, so I'm using the word pounds so we understand whatever the currency was there. He said, whoever even gives me one more, you can marry my daughter. Because there was no wealth left, because he'd taken it all off everybody. And a young poor person thought, I can marry the king's daughter. He went home to his mother. His mother said, we've got no money, nobody's got money. And he said, we must find £1, I can marry the king's daughter. And she said, in your father's mouth when we buried him, we stuffed a note. Go uncover that note and go marry the daughter. So he went and he dug the grave of his own father to take that pound or that note out. Guru Badshah had found out about this. He actually tortured the son, took that money off him, and then he thought that other people must have done this, and he dug up everybody else's graves in search for more money, but he still didn't quench his thirst. That's why you can never quench your thirst wanting more and more of this materialistic wealth. Later, Guru Nanak Sahib blessed him and he decided to do seva of the Sangat. So, Guru Sahib Ji is telling us, Guru Amar Das Ji, that it doesn't go with us and we can never be, our thirst can never be quenched. Sacha tan gurmati pae. The true wealth is only found through Gurmat, the teachings of our Guru Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and like Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, in search of a Pura Guru, we need a Pura Guru, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Panch Pyare, and they give us the true wealth of Naam, which is put inside of us, so we can repeat that name, and only that Naam will stay with us in this world and in the afterworld, and will go with us and will bless us throughout eternity. Kacha tan phon ave jai. Phon means fair. Jai. Kacha tan, this false wealth, this kacha wealth, this incomplete wealth, even though it comes ave, it will phon, and then jai, even though they're not next to each other, it will go away. It doesn't stay with us. Rahau. Guru Sahib Ji wants us to pause and really reflect on this. Any false, incomplete wealth will never go with us. Only the true wealth of Naam will be with us in this life and forevermore. Manamuk pule sab marhe gavar. The manamuk, those who have their mind as leaders, they are pule. They have lost the right, correct way. Sab marhe gavar. They will die. We will leave this world without any knowledge of how we want to better ourselves for eternity. Pavajal dube na urvar na par. Pavajal means this ocean. Jal means water. Pavajal, this ocean. This worldly ocean, dube. We will drown within this world. Na urvar na par. Urvar, if you're crossing a river, urvar is the side that you start on, and par is the other side. So as we start crossing the river, Guru Sahib Ji is saying, if we focus on this materialistic wealth, forget about the par, the other side, where we were going to, we won't even be able to get back to this side, because we're going to drown in the middle. So urvar and par, we won't be able to cross this worldly ocean, because our focus will be on collecting materialistic wealth. Sadgur pete pura pag. But if we do the darshan pete, come to the sanctuary of Satguru, the true Guru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we have given pura pag, we are given great blessings. And further, only those who have complete blessings, pag, have done great actions in their past lives, are allowed to come into their sanctuary, and we are blessed with those blessings. That's why we keep coming to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Sajarate ehnis berag. And then when we come to the sanctuary, Sajarate, sing the praises, the true praises, with love, Ratte, love. Sach ratte. Sing the true name with complete love. Ehenis, day, and this night. Day, night, we should have berag. We lose the love for materialistic wealth. We lose the love for the world. And we develop our love with our Guru through repeating their name. Chaho jog meh amrit sachi bani. In these 4 ages, Satjog, Treta, Dwapar and Kaljog meh. Within these 4 ages, Amrit sachi bani, the true bani, is Amrit Roop. Amrit Bani har har teri, son son hove paramagat meri. Only by listening to Amrit Bani are we going to get mukti, are we going to get liberated. Amrit is the Bani. We don't have to go anywhere else, but before we can realize the spiritual Amrit, we need to find the physical Amrit to make it start gushing from inside us by going to the Panj Pyare. Pure Bhag Har Naam Samani. And then with those great blessings, we are given that Naam that is infused inside of us by the Panj Pyare. And as we recite it, Samani, it will develop in each room and we will be embodiment of Naam. Siddh Sadhak Tarsah Sabloe. Siddh Sadhak. Those people who have done many actions, Karam Khans, over all these hundreds and thousands of years, thinking they're going to find God. They were known as the Siddhs, ascetics, yogis. They're doing their actions, their Karam Khans, standing in water, standing upside down, all standing on one leg, all these different things they've done. Tarsah. They are dying. Sabloy, all these people are dying for Naam. They're dying for that blessing. They're dying for liberation, but they won't get it. Because how do you get it? Pure Bhag Parapat Hoye. Parapat, we only get that blessing if we have complete blessings. Guru Sahib Ji's used the word Pure Bhag many times now in this Shabad. Those blessings are coming to their sanctuary and following their teachings. And we are allowed in their sanctuary. They do that side for us. What we have to do is follow their teachings. If we follow their teachings, those blessings, we will realize those blessings and we will be liberated and become one with the Lord. Sab keshe sacha, sacha hai soe. So if we translate this, sacha hai soe, the back part of the Pankti first. So that person who repeats the name, sacha hai soe, he becomes complete, he becomes sacha as well. Because he becomes one with the true Lord, so he becomes or she becomes true themselves. And then the first part of the Pankti, Sabakesha Sacha. Because they are true, they see everybody else as true. They see Vaheguru everywhere. They reach the avastha of Bhai Kanhaiya Ji and see Vaheguru not only in themselves, they don't realize Vaheguru inside of them. They realize Vaheguru in Kanna Kanna Devich, basically in every particle and every bit of creation, they realize the one Lord. Uttama Brahma Pashane Koe. The highest of the high, Brahm, the creator Lord, not Brahma here, not one of the deities. Brahm describes as the creator Lord, Uttam, the highest creator Lord, who is Vaheguru, Pashana Koi. Those people will realize them everywhere. Sacha 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 Aap Dirdaye. So the final teaching, Sacha, Nishcha Karke, with true Parosa, with trust. Let's trust the Lord. Sacha, Vaheguru, Sacha Aap Dirdai. So the reason why we have Sacha, Sacha, Sach here, Sach, the first Sach translated to Nishcha Karke. Sacha means Akal Purakh Vaheguru, God. Sacha, the name, the true name, Aap Dirdai, Guru Roop Ho Karke. Sach Sroop, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Akal Purakh Vaheguru da Sacha Naam, Nishcha Karke Sanu Japonde Han. So they translation is, they will make us recite the name themselves because they are our Guru. Just like a father holds the hand of their child as they're growing up, as they're learning to walk, in the same way Guru Sahib Ji spiritually holds our hands and takes us on this path and walks us all the way to the end because they are our Guru and they be from Sargun, they help us attain Nirgun. And Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji's form, through Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji now, is given as the final Pankti, Nanak Ape Vekhe, Ape Sach Lae. Tan Sri Guru Nanak Sahib, Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, Ape Vekhe. They watch over us, Ape Sach Lae, and they Aap Sanu Sach Sroop de vich launda hai. Aap hi, they all themselves join us with the true way, the true path. We must do one thing. When we come here, they bring us here, let us follow their teachings. If we follow their teachings, they will do everything else. And the main teaching of the Shabad from Sahib Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji this time round is, let us not go and chase after that wealth which is katha. Let us focus on that wealth which is Sacha, that is Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Happy Sach, Nanak Hosi Bi Sach, the true wealth of Naam. And whatever we do in this world, even if we have to do kirt, but let us not get attached to what we do materialistically. We are only doing that for a reason, to live our lives. The focus of our life is Naam Japna, Vand Ke Shagna Kirt Karni. That Naam we are only given through the Panch Pyare, through Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Kirpa. And if we get that Naam, then we must repeat it over and over and not spend an instant without repeating it, so we can experience the complete bliss that Guru Sahib Ji has come to this world to give us. If I've made any mistakes, I beg for forgiveness. You, the Sadh Sangat, can bless me with Brahma Gyan so I can continue sharing the teachings. Guru Khalsa Ji, you can bless me with Sant Khalsa Ji and Guru Sikhi Di Daat, so we can repeat the name and become one with the Lord. Kirpa Rakho. You know, I pray to the Lord that we all experience that Guru Sikhi, that Naam Di Daat, so we can all experience that bliss while we're living. Deho Sajjan Assis Chadiyan Jo Hove Sahib Se Umed, Lekha Katha Hna Shutiya, Khin Khin Poolan Har, Baksan Har Baksla Nanak Paratar. I thank the Sevadars, the Prabandhak Committee for allowing me time. Tanavad Samu Sadh Sangat Da. Let us read the last two panktis out of respect, and then it will be Smarti. Sacha 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 Aap Dardaaye, Nanak Ape Vekhe Ape Sach Laaye. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.